Welcome back to Yoga by Paige. In this flow, we will be moving a little bit more slowly. Now, remember, slowly does not necessarily mean easier, so we'll still definitely get a little bit of a burn, and we'll be working on a little bit of activation and toning through the legs so that we can build a really strong foundation from which we can move. So if you are ready, let's go ahead and just get started in child's pose. We'll take those knees really nice and wide, bringing the big toes to touch behind us. Walk the hands all the way out in front of you, letting the forehead drop down to the mat. Taking a couple of big deep breaths here, and dropping into the sensations in the body. Noticing how you feel as you arrive on your mat. And allowing this pulse check to really inform the way you move. One more breath. From your child's pose, staying low through the hips, we'll just walk our hands 3 steps over to the right. Your right hand will likely come off of your mat. Plant the left hand on top of your right. Let the forehead drop all the way down to the ground. What you're starting to feel here is a stretch in the outer left of the body here. All the way from the shoulder blade on the left side through that left hip. Taking one more breath here. The more you press this left hand down and activate the left arm, the deeper stretch you'll feel. Starting to walk the hands through center. We'll come through center and take you 3 steps over to the left, placing the right hand on top of the left this time, letting the forehead drop down. Stretching out the right side body this time, feeling that opening through the rib cage. Remembering that the more you press this right hand down into the ground, the more you'll actually feel the stretch all through that right side body. And gently tugging this right hip back as well. We'll inhale, come back through center, and from your center, child's pose here, just walk yourself up into a nice tabletop position. Planting your hands underneath the shoulders and your knees underneath the hips, pull the navel up into the spine. We'll take a moment here to feel this deeper connection and toning through the core, and then move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So you'll tilt the pelvis, drop the rib cage down, peel the gaze all the way up. And then exhaling, tuck the pelvis, navel to spine, chin to chest, cat pose, creating a spine like a screechy cat. Inhale for your cow. Exhaling for cat. We'll do one more here. Inhale for your cow. Lingering where it might feel really good in your body. Exhaling cat. And then coming back to this really strong neutral spine, we're actually just gonna slither through to walk the hands out, send the hips forward, and slowly melt all the way down to your belly, setting up for a baby cobra pose. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, bringing your hands underneath the shoulders, roll the shoulders down away from your ears, squeeze the elbows in, and then with your feet connected and pressing into the ground, start to peel your chest up for a baby cobra, allowing the neck to be an extension of the spine. So we're not cranking our gaze up in any way, but we're feeling this long line. Elbows continue to squeeze in, and you might even start to tone through the belly. Noticing the more you tone through the belly, your tailbone might reach out towards your heels. The legs might activate a little bit more. We're here for one more breath. And then exhaling, go ahead and turn your cheek down to the ground. Bring the arms alongside the body. Taking a moment, and if you felt some sensation in the back and you want to release that, you can bend the knees and windshield wipe the knees side to side. And then extending the legs long again, we'll keep the arms alongside the body, forehead presses down into the mat. Now the feet will press in, you're cinching in around the belly, feeling that full activation, both in the legs and in your belly. We'll peel the chest up back into that baby cobra pose, floating the arms off of the mat. So you're in the same position you were just in, just without the aid of your hands. Now notice the orientation of your feet here. There's no internal or external rotation because they're pressing down into the ground. Keep that and just slowly float your feet up off of the mat. You're in full locust pose here. Taking a nice big deep inhale and exhale. One more inhale. Slowly releasing it down. After releasing it down, you can turn your other cheek into the mat, bend your knees, and windshield wipe, particularly if you felt any sensation through the lower back that didn't feel very nice. Now we'll extend the legs, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, rock back for a brief child's pose, stretching out all of the muscles through the lower back. Breathing in nice and deeply to inflate the lungs, finding space, and letting that go. You will tuck your toes, send the hips up nice and high for our first downward facing dog together. Pedaling out the knees, nodding your head yes and no, just checking in with all of the sensations of the body, observing how you feel here. Settling into this downward facing dog shape so it begins to feel like you're home. We'll take one more big breath, inhale, and exhale. And then on your next inhale, we'll begin to look at our hands and just take a few steps to walk the hands all the way towards the feet. Coming into your forward fold on the exhale, you'll press your hands into your shins to lift yourself up halfway, lengthening the tailbone back and your chest forward, finding a flat back halfway lift. And then exhaling, forward fold. Toe heel your feet so that they're hip width distance apart. That's usually 2 fists between your hands. You have a pretty generous bend in the knees so you can actually drape your chest over the thighs. And then we'll grab opposite elbows just to find a nice little sway here. Swaying out, shifting the weight from side to side. Maybe even checking in on the balance, shifting the weight here forward and back. One more big inhale. And then exhaling, release your hands down to the ground. Press the hands into your shins, lift up halfway, lengthen legs and chest. Exhaling all the way back down. Over to rise through those heels, pulling the navel to your spine, chin to your chest. Slowly roll yourself all the way back up into that mountain pose. Gliding the shoulders down away from the ears, lengthening the arms, and then feel that tailbone lengthen down towards your heels as well. We'll take a moment here and grab your left wrist with your right fingertips. Reach that left arm up and out of the socket, and then we'll arch over to the right, wrapping this left shoulder back. Letting the left hip pop out a little bit towards the left side. Maybe looking up underneath that left armpit as you open through your chest. And then you'll inhale, come back up through center, lengthen the arms up nice and high. Grab your right wrist with your left fingertips. Reach this hand up and out and arch over to the left this time. Let the right hip pop out to help you deepen that stretch, rolling the right shoulder back. Looking up underneath that armpit if that feels good for you, potentially deepening the arch a little bit more. Inhaling, come back up. You'll exhale, swan dive into that forward fold. Letting that kind of lengthen out through the side bodies. You'll inhale, lift up halfway. Exhaling down into your forward fold. And then this time we'll reverse swan dive, come back up into your mountain pose, palms touch, gaze lifts. Exhaling, hands down to heart center. From our mountain pose, this time, you're going to shift the weight into your left leg and just step the right leg back as far as you can, coming into a crescent lunge. So crescent lunge, your hips are square, everything is hugging into the midline, and you're pitching up high onto the ball of that back foot. Resist a little bit with this left heel so that you start to feel this suspension of your body in between your legs. Inhale to reach the arms up really nice and high. And on your exhale here, you're going to cactus your arms. Lift that chest up a little bit. Inhale, reach your arms up nice and high. And then exhale, reach your right hand forward, drop your left hand back towards the back edge of your mat, opening your chest, squeezing through the legs to really challenge your balance. We'll inhale, come back through center. And on your exhale, we'll step forward into that mountain pose. Inhale, circle sweep up to reset. Exhaling, hands to heart center. This time, you'll keep your right foot planted, step the left leg back as far as you can, setting up into this crescent lunge. So you're high onto the ball of that left foot, left leg is really strong, the knee is lifting away from the mat. And you're pressing the ground away with this right heel, feeling that suspension between both of your legs, hugging everything in. Inhale, reach the arms up again. And now exhale, cactus the arms, lift up your chest. Inhale, reach your arms up really nice and high. And then exhale, left hand forward, drop your right hand so it stretches all the way to the back edge of your mat. Hugging the legs into center will help you find balance. Challenging it here through the legs. Now inhale, come back through center. Exhaling, we'll step together, finding that mountain pose. Good work, yogis. Inhale, circle sweep up. On your exhale, we'll swan dive down into forward fold. Inhaling, lift up halfway, lengthening legs and chest. And then we'll exhale, plant our hands, and just step back into downward facing dog. Taking a moment to arrive in your downward facing dog, feeling that home base, connecting for just 2 more breaths. Last one here, inhale and exhale. And then you can look at your hands and decide how you want to travel forward. You can lift your heels and bend the knees and either lightly hop forward or step forward into that fold. Inhale, pressing your hands into your shins, find a halfway lift, lengthening through the spine as much as you can. Exhale into your forward fold. We'll come back up to mountain pose, rise all the way up, big length in your mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're gonna work on a tree flow here. So I'll turn and face you. So while we're here, we're gonna shift the weight a little bit into this right leg, bring your right hand to your right hip. And then you'll lift the left heel up and you have a few options. Level 1, you can keep those toes down, working on opening this knee out to the side, bringing your hands to heart center. Level 2, you can slide this foot up around the calf muscle, squeezing the calf into the sole of your foot. Level 3, you're going to want to slide that leg all the way up over the knee to plug that leg or your foot into your thigh. So you'll want to strengthen the legs and hug the leg into the foot, and that will help you open up the knee. So you can keep your hands on your hips, you can bring them to heart center. You can also start to grow your hands up really nice and tall. So once you are in your variation of tree pose, try to find one place to look at. This is your point of focus or drishti, and that will help some of the wobbles that come along with standing balances. And if you feel really steady in your tree, you can pretend like you got wind in your tree and just find a gentle sway here side to side. We'll take one more breath playing with this variation. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands back to heart center and gently release that left foot down, maybe shaking out that right leg. So we'll come into our second side tree pose. Inhale, reach your arms up really nice and high. Exhaling, hands down to heart center. We'll bring the left hand to the left hip this time, and then decide what you want to do. Remember that level 1 is bringing the toes down, just the heel will connect to the leg. Your knee is opening out. Level 2, you'll start to slide that foot up around your shin or your calf muscle there, continuing to open the knee, lengthening the tailbone down. Level 3, if you want to use your hands to help you slide that leg all the way up into your inner groin, engage that standing leg so that your standing leg is meeting the resistance of that heel. That will help you to hug everything in and actually tone that leg as well. Then choose where you want your hands. You can have them on hips, hands heart center, maybe grow the arms, maybe you find that sway again. Remembering to find that one point of focus, something that isn't moving with your gaze slightly elevated, will help you with the balance. That drishti, our focus and our energy. Take one more breath in your standing tree pose. And then you'll exhale, release down, bring your hands to heart center and shake that up. Nice, yogis. Well, I'll come back to the top of the mat. You should already be there. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhaling, swan dive, forward fold. You'll inhale, lift up halfway, lengthening legs and chest. Exhaling all the way back down. Root to rise, mountain pose, palms touch, gaze lifts. You'll exhale, bring those hands right back to heart center. Now you'll bring your hands to your hips, step this right leg back as far as you can, and then open up. We're gonna come into a wide leg forward fold. So what you wanna do is turn the toes in and your heels out, lengthen that tailbone down. Inhaling, reach the arms up really nice and high. And just like you do in your regular forward fold, swan dive with a nice flat back. In this wide leg forward fold, once you make your way down, plant the hands underneath your shoulders and lift yourself up halfway. You'll shift forward so that the weight is in the balls of your feet. You're lifting up those inner arches. And then you can decide from here how deep you want to go into this wide leg fold. Maybe you stay here keeping your chest supported. Perhaps you have blocks or fingertips that you're using to also stay up higher. Or you can start to come down into something a little bit deeper, potentially walking the hands behind you, reaching the crown of the head down towards the mat. We'll take one more breath in this variation. And exhale. Start to walk your hands back underneath the shoulders if you took an option here. And then you'll plant the right hand directly underneath your sternum or chest. Start to bring this left hand either level 1 to the lower back as you open your chest to the left. Or if that feels good and you want to take it deeper, level 2, the fingertips will go to the sky. And level 3, if your neck allows for it, you can turn your gaze up towards that left thumb. Shifting the weight forward into the balls of your feet, your hand is resisting pressing the ground away. One more big inhale in this wide leg fold. And then exhaling, drop that left hand down. You'll place the left hand where your right was, directly underneath your chest. Coming into your second side, inhale, bring that right hand to the lower back. Roll the right shoulder back. Level 1, you're on the back. Level 2, you're extending that right hand up to the sky. Level 3, you're looking up at that thumb, shifting your weight forward. Breathing here, inhale. Staying for the exhale. Inhale. And now we'll exhale, bring that right hand back down. Find a halfway lift here. In your halfway lift, you'll toe heel your feet together and then turn back towards the front of your mat. Inhale to find a halfway lift. Plant your hands. We'll step back into that downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you'll drop your knees. Slither forward to your belly. Roll the shoulders, squeeze the elbows. Inhale, lift the chest up. Feel that engagement in your legs release. Exhale, back down. We'll inhale, rock ourselves back to the knees, bringing the legs out in front of us so we can come into a seated butterfly. So you'll bring the soles of the feet together, opening those knees really nice and wide. And you can play with how close or how far these heels are towards your inner groin, but just make sure you're grabbing the ankles, making sure your sit bones are connected to the ground, and you'll lift your chest up really nice and tall. From here, elbows will press into the knees and your chest reaches forward so you can get another stretch. This might feel similar or familiar to that wide leg fold. We're definitely getting into the same area. Take one more inhale and exhale. And then now you'll inhale, unwind. Bring your hands behind those knees, lift the legs up. Go ahead and lean back, walk your feet out so that they're mat width distance apart, and just drop those knees side to side to release any of that work through the hips and the legs. From here, we'll extend the legs out in front of us, beginning to make our way down onto the back. We'll tap into one more strength builder for our legs before closing out this practice. Pull the navel down into the spine so you feel the lower back imprint on the ground. Arms are alongside the body and all 10 toes are pointing forward, coming up into a bridge pose so that we are really connecting to the hamstrings. Press through your heels and start to peel those hips up. Arms are pressing into the ground. Your tailbone is lengthening out, and you really want to feel this connection between heels lifting, hips lifting, and the hamstrings are catching. So you might even bring your hands down to where those hamstrings are and see if they are. Maybe they're not. So you push through the heels a little bit more to find that connection. Once you have that connection, continue to cinch in around the waist. You're welcome to deepen your bridge pose by walking your hands underneath, interlacing your fingers. Or sometimes it's also nice to grab the edges of the mat and pull the edges of the mat away using your arms. That way you can really focus on the legs. We're here for just one more breath. Hopefully you feel that hamstring engagement. And then exhaling, we'll slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Pausing here with the hips on the ground. And then we'll start to hug the knees into the chest, giving them a nice tight squeeze, rocking that out side to side. Go ahead and press these knees away so they stack up on top of the hips. You'll open your arms out wide into a T and then gently drop both legs over to the right. Nice spinal twist here before closing out our practice. Look out towards the left fingertips. Taking just a couple of breaths here, dropping in right away, unwinding all of that work from our practice. Inhale, come back through center, hugging the knees into your chest. Resetting the spine there, and then press those legs away so they stack up over your hips. Arms open out wide into their T, and now they drop over to the left side. Gaze will turn out to your right fingertips. Your shoulders are melting to the ground. You're unwinding here on your second side. One more big breath. And then you'll come back into center, hugging your knees into the chest, giving them a nice tight squeeze. Draw the forehead up to touch the knees. And then you'll extend those legs long for a moment of rest. In Shavasana, shaking the legs so they fall open naturally, rolling the shoulders out of your ears. Closing the eyes and tucking the chin. Just absorbing all of the sensations that you created in our brief practice together. Letting the body rest as you let go of any activity left in the muscles. Feeling your breath return to its natural state. And just also noticing the shift that this physical practice can have on our mind and body. Staying here for just a couple more breaths. One more inhale. And then begin to wiggle those fingers and toes. Reach the arms all the way up overhead for that full body stretch. Curl your knees into your chest and roll over to your side, pausing for a round of breath. And when you're ready, you can press yourself up into a really nice, comfortable seat. Drawing hands to heart center, eyes closed with a slight bow on your forehead. In gratitude for sharing your practice, the teacher and the light in me honors the teacher and the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here, Yogi. I really hope that you enjoy this practice. Continue to subscribe to our channel for weekly videos, including vlogs and meditations and more yoga flows. Until next time, be, learn, play.